Mike Tyson recently outclassed Jake Paul in a surprising sparring session that sent shockwaves through the boxing world. Fans had been eagerly awaiting their official fight on November 15, 2024, but the unexpected showdown arrived weeks early. This intense sparring match revealed just how significant the age and experience gap is, with 57-year-old Tyson demonstrating his legendary skills against the 27-year-old Paul. The boxing community is buzzing with excitement and speculation about what this means for their upcoming bout. As anticipation builds, many are reconsidering their predictions for the official fight after witnessing Tyson's dominance in the ring. As Mike Tyson approaches 60, boxing pros and pundits were convinced that the upcoming matchup with Jake Paul would be a recipe for disaster. Most anticipated that either the youthful energy of 27-year-old Paul would overpower the aging Tyson, or that Tyson's legendary power would crush Jake. However, what transpired during their recent sparring session had the entire boxing world scratching their heads. On Friday, September 20th, Jake and Mike faced off in a session that turned out to be far more intense than expected. They squared up to gauge their readiness for the big fight, but it became clear that Jake has a lot of work ahead of him. Tyson didn't just defeat Jake, he schooled him, as if it were 1988 all over again. Fans everywhere were left in shock. Who would have thought a fighter nearing 60 could still throw punches like he's in his prime? Well,
walk it out.
And obviously the type of style Mike adopts.
Surprise. Mike Tyson still possesses that explosive power and skill, leaving everyone reconsidering their predictions for the official fight. Mike Tyson's power and speed are still very much intact, and Jake Paul just learned that lesson the hard way. Many anticipated this sparring session would be a friendly exchange, where Jake might land a few punches and Tyson would showcase some of his classic moves. However, Tyson entered the ring ready to remind everyone who he truly is, the same fighter who annihilated Trevor Berbick to become the youngest heavyweight champion. That Tyson is back, and now Jake must contend with it. There was a belief that Tyson had fallen past his prime, but this fight isn't just against a 58-year-old, it's against the Mike Tyson who made heavyweight legends look like amateurs. Remember his 1988 fight against Larry Holmes? Holmes, a former champion and a legend, had only been knocked down once in his entire career, yet Tyson proved he could dominate even the best. Tyson's performance against Larry Holmes was legendary. He knocked Holmes down 3 times in the same round, leaving him flat on the canvas, bewildered by what just hit him. In his fight with Michael Spink,
You gotta be ready to eat some jabs, as you can see here.
who came in undefeated, Tyson ended that streak in just 91 seconds, not merely a knockout, but an obliteration. This is the Tyson Jake Paul is facing, not some old-timer looking for a final paycheck. Tyson is here to remind the world that he still possesses that killer instinct. During their sparring session, Mike moved like he was in his prime, slipping punches, ducking, weaving, and throwing bombs that had Jake on his heels the entire time. Fans watching were left in disbelief at Tyson's explosive performance, solidifying that he's still a force to be reckoned with. Tyson's power remains as formidable as ever. Don't get me wrong, Jake Paul held his own, throwing solid punches and trying to stick and move. However, Tyson's ring IQ is off the charts. Every time Jake attempted to come in, Mike was already gone, expertly slipping punches and returning with counters that had Jake second-guessing himself. The footwork and defensive skills made it feel like we were watching Tyson rewind to his prime. Those body shots? They had Jake rethinking his entire approach. Tyson's legendary body shots are notorious for a reason, and Jake experienced that pain firsthand. If anyone thought this was just a light sparring session, they were sorely mistaken. Tyson didn't hold back. He cornered Jake, putting him on the ropes and unloading vicious combinations that were anything but pretty. Let's not forget Tyson's signature peekaboo defense. He slipped Jake's punches like they were nothing, countering with quick, sharp strikes that left fans in awe. Tyson's counters likely had Jake Paul seeing stars. This is the same defensive technique that kept Tyson untouchable in the 90s, and now Jake just got a taste of it. The craziest part? He had to be carried out of the gym on a gurney. That's how badly Tyson hurt him. Let's not forget that Tyson's punches aren't just powerful, they're precision weapons. Back in the day, he wasn't merely swinging for the fences. Every punch had a purpose, and it looks like nothing has changed. During the sparring session, Tyson was picking Jake apart, landing shots with pinpoint accuracy as if he were a master at work. Fans expected Tyson to be slowed down by age, but he proved them wrong. The dude is still a beast. Now imagine being Jake in that moment. You step into the ring with one of the most dangerous fighters in history thinking you've got a shot, and then bam. Tyson reminds you exactly why they call him Iron Mike. It's a reality check he won't soon forget. The truth is, Jake Paul isn't just facing any 58-year-old, he's up against the same Mike Tyson who took down legends like Trevor Berbick, Frank Bruno, Larry Holmes, and Michael Spinks. Tyson is a living legend, and if the sparring session is any indication of what's to come on November 15th, Jake better prepare for a war. Tyson isn't just showing up, he's here to win. Despite his age, he remains the baddest man on the planet, and Jake just discovered that firsthand. This fight...
Day 2, we're getting ready for you. 1, 2, 3, 4.
just became a lot more intriguing. The boxing world was already buzzing with excitement, but now it's at another level. Tyson demonstrated that, after all these years, he still possesses the power, speed, and mindset that made him a legend. The evidence isn't only in Iron Mike's brutal knockouts, it's also visible in his training videos that have been circulating online for months. This moment wasn't just a loss for Jake, it marked the end of his delusion that he could challenge a fighter of Tyson's caliber. Jake Paul had the whole boxing world believing he was an A-list athlete with his cocky persona and bold claims about knocking out Mike Tyson. But after being exposed in the ring, his credibility has taken a serious hit. Let's not forget how Jake's words came back to haunt him during the August 18th press conference, where he audaciously declared that Tyson's time was up and that he would put the old man to rest. He said it with confidence, as if the legendary Mike Tyson was just another name on his hit list. But true to form, Jake couldn't resist running his mouth, speaking straight from the heart. Now, he's facing the harsh reality of what it means to challenge a living legend. Jake Paul has been throwing out bold claims left and right, no filter and no second thoughts. The problem child has been telling everyone he's going to take down the legend Mike Tyson, promising
A little menopause break and postpone the fight, so yeah. What about that, dog? I was ready before, you needed a little break. Your tummy hurt? Your tummy hurts?
that he'll be the one to end Tyson's reign and walk away with the victory on fight night. But let's be real, Jake is in for a reality check he wasn't expecting. This isn't just a YouTuber or an MMA fighter he's dealing with, he's up against a man who has been knocking people's lights out for decades. Jake Paul's confidence is a key part of his brand, and you have to give him credit for it. However, in the ring, confidence alone isn't enough. After that sparring session, it's crystal clear that Jake still has a long way to go before he can compete with a legend like Mike Tyson. Let's be honest, Jake has been talking a big game for years, but is he truly ready for this challenge? Sure, he's had wins against fighters like Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley,
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
and even Anderson Silva, but let's not forget that these guys are MMA fighters, not professional boxers. They aren't the kind of opponents who will adequately prepare him to face a monster like Tyson, a man who built a career on destroying boxers. Jake has some skills, but Tyson just demonstrated that there's a massive difference between beating YouTubers and former MMA fighters and actually stepping into the ring with a boxing legend. To face a legend like Mike Tyson,
but Tyson just showed him that there's a massive difference between beating YouTubers and ex-MMA guys and actually taking on a legend like him.
If he wants to survive
the YouTuber turned boxer is going to need more than just knockout power and social media hype to get through this one. He's going to need to evolve big time if he even wants to survive the first few rounds. Tyson is calculated, vicious, and ruthless in the ring. He doesn't care about your Instagram followers or how many views you're pulling in. He cares about winning, and he's going to show Jake that firsthand. So while Jake's been running his mouth, promising the world that he'll take down Tyson, he's finally met with the reality that he's not quite there yet. The sparring session made it clear he's still got a long way to go before he can truly back up the claims he's been making. Maybe Jake thought his youth and speed would be enough, but when you're in the ring with a legend, all that goes out the window. You think Jake's going to let that slip away? No way. And for Mike,
Along
He's
with
still in it
sponsorship
to
deals,
show that he's the
pay-per-view
king
numbers,
while
and
also
merchandise
securing
sales.
that bag.
There's too much money at
These
stake
guys
for
have
either fighter to back
millions
down
riding
now.
on this fight,
Even if Jake
not to
knows
mention
he's
the
in trouble, he's still
sponsorship
going to
deals,
show
the
up and put on a
PPV
show.
numbers, the merch.
At the end
There's
of the
too
day,
much
that
money
bag is
involved to call
calling,
it quits
and
now.
both Mike and Jake
Even
are
if
here
Jake
to
knows
answer
he's
it.
in trouble, he's
That's
still
all I
going to
have
show
for you
up and
today.
put on a show.
What are your thoughts on Mike
At
outclassing
the end of the
Jake?
day, that bag's
Fill the
calling,
comment section
and
with
both
your
Mike
opinions,
and Jake are
and I'll
here
see
to
you in the
answer.
next video.
So that's all I have for
Until
you
then,
today.
peace out.
What are your